What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Optimize You podcast. If this is your first time, welcome. This is a podcast where we help you optimize every aspect in your life to help level up your game so that you can become the best version of yourself. Today, we have an awesome topic with Alex and myself. We're going to be diving into today how to filter through the noise so that you can help find the best health coach for you. How do you find that best health coach for you? That's what we're going to help you do today. So, Alex, what's going on, man?
What up, brother? What up, dude? I'm pumped. I'm excited. I just love doing this. Obviously, this is number 2. We're batching them a little bit more now, and just because of my schedule, come the first of the year is going to be a little bit different. So it's good. I love popping on here. It's been a good day. We can talk, jam on some topics, and this is going to be a good one, man. This is going to be a good one. This is something we haven't talked about on the podcast yet, and we're getting upwards of 100 podcast episodes. So I think it's time that we help anybody out there listening be able to find the right health coach, nutrition coach, personal trainer, whatever you're trying to find. If you're thinking about, like, let's just say you've been doing this on your own for a long period of time. You've been trying this out. You've been trying to lose weight. You've been trying to build muscle, whatever your goals are. You've been trying it for a long time and you just have not been successful. That's probably where it's time to start thinking about a coach, right? And understand, like, kind of getting right into it, like, there's a lot of different ways that people can go about this, right? And kind of the first thing I like to say is, like, if you're somebody, let's back up a little bit. And let's say that you're somebody who can just, like, all you need is direction. There's a lot of coaches out there that have a really good course, right? There's like courses, they're going to be a little bit cheaper. You're not gonna have any hand holding throughout it. It's gonna be directional. It's gonna give you information that you need to be successful. If you're somebody who just fucking executes, all you need is direction, that could be a good option for you. And maybe if you're somebody who's executes and doesn't have the budget, maybe for high ticket coaching or for an expensive coach, because let's be honest, man, we both know you get what you pay for with anything, right? You get what you pay for. I think I've talked about before. Like, I always go back to, like, products, right? There's a lot of knockoff products you can get on Amazon or anything else. And every time I've done that, where I've been like, oh, I'm going to get the knockoff clothing, or I'm going to get the knockoff AirPods, or I'm going to get the clothing rips like in a month. The AirPods die. Like, they literally just live a slow, they die a slow death, right? And it's a quick death. It takes like a month and then they're dead. I've just always, eventually I end up buying the thing that's actually worth it, right? An example, the AirPods. Like, I bought knockoff AirPods one time and they fucking broke within like 2 months. And then I bought regular AirPods and I've had them for like 4 years, right? Like, you're going to save yourself a lot of time if you don't go for the cheapest thing. And so that's kind of what I would say. But the first thing is, if you're somebody who fucking executes, you're like, you know what? I just have no fucking idea what to do to get this. I can't do it. Like, I can do it on my own. I just need direction. A course could be a good option, right? And then there's other coaches, like, will have certain coaches just do this, where they have just courses, or there's certain coaches that they will have just group coaching, right? And and with group coaching, you're in a group of people that are going at similar goals. And you'll just maybe have like a call or two a week with the coach where you can ask questions, and, you know, it's a little bit of hand holding. And then there's the more of like the one-on-one coaching, which is what Matt and myself more specialize in. The one-on-one side, where that's hand holding. That's, you know, going to vary based on the coach, right? I know, Matt, you have a monthly call with your clients. I have a bi-weekly call with my clients. Some people will do weekly calls with people. I've heard everything along the, you know, everything under the moon. Like, and that's gonna, depending on what you need, what kind of level of service you need, is gonna depend on the person. But you're gonna want to keep that in mind too. You're gonna want to ask those questions. And so that is the first. We just dove right in. I know you asked me how it's
dude. I love it.
Right in, but that's kind of what I wanted to, that was top of mind, was kind of thinking about the different levels of what you're going to probably see out there when it comes to coaching.
That's such a great point, man. I like that you went that route, because I wasn't thinking that way immediately. And I'll kind of go off what you were saying right there. I think super important if you're in the space or looking to get into the space and you want to find that coach that's right for you. It's harder now than it ever has been because of how much noise is out there, especially on social media. So that's why we're doing this podcast, to help you guys out, how Alex and I both navigate to hire our coaches, because we also are coached. This is just a never ending learning process that we're committed to. And so, yes, some people might be surprised, but Alex and I both have coaches, and so I think we can help share our experience and how we've navigated through all kinds of noise right now for business coaches in the nutrition and fitness and health industry, and how we narrowed it down. So I'll share some of that with you. And Alex brought up a great point, is knowing yourself, having self-awareness of like, what do you specifically need? Where are you at in your journey? Are you somebody who needs to start from scratch, or are you kind of like more of a seasoned vet, or you have some experience, you just need to take it to another level? There's going to be different tiers and different quality in which you choose to work with. So not everybody is going to be the same. They're not all equal. Chances are coaches are going to have totally different pricing. And to Alex's point, the pricing is there for a very specific reason. Like if you see some astronomical prices, it's probably because they know what they're doing, they have the experience, and they have the proven track record. And they're probably giving you some sort of proximity, meaning like you can contact them specifically, especially if they have a big network and they have a massive business. A lot of times when you jump into a program, you have to decide whether you want one-on-one guidance and coaching, or you want to just be part of like the group atmosphere and kind of camaraderie and community. And you don't necessarily need the hand holding. You just want to be a part of a bigger network and be able to ask questions and get them answered kind of on their schedule. Then that's going to be something that's probably a little bit more affordable than if you pay for proximity and you want to be right in a professional's pocket, side pocket, and be able to ask them questions at any point in time. And like, that's why I'm not going to lie, my program's super expensive, but because I give clients access to me via my app, via video, text, voice text, whatever they want, 24/7. So I have to decide as a coach how much I'm willing to give my time up and provide myself and be there for my clients. So that price is going to be really high versus if I'm just giving somebody a workout plan, like generic plan, that generic nutrition plan, like that doesn't cause me any effort, and I don't give them access to me. That's really what you're paying for, is the access to the professional. So how much access do you want? How much hand holding do you want? That's something that each individual has to consider. Now I will say, like, our coaches, they did it in a good way to where they have the program and then they have multiple coaches like in different avenues. So that's another thing too. So it depends on how big the program is and how reputable they are will determine the size, and then how much touch points you get one-on-one with a coach or small group or however it's broken down to. So you really have to figure out how much attention do I need? How much help do I need? And then you're going to pay accordingly, right? Like if you're somebody who needs a lot of help, you're probably going to pay a little bit more because you need to pay more for proximity, meaning you need to have a coach readily available so that you can ask your questions, versus here's the other way, is like you could be on a group call of 15, 20, 30 people and you might get your question answered. Like that ticket price is going to be a lot lower. And it's going to be more of a group atmosphere, community atmosphere. And that's wise, because you may not even get your question answered on the call. Right. So you're paying for a lot of that. And then another thing I was going to say is, and I'd love to know your opinion on this too, dude. So when you're looking around, or if somebody's looking around, they're searching and they're navigating, and they're trying to filter through all the noise, what is something that you look for initially? Like, what's the main thing that you look for? What's the top thing that stands out to you where you're like, either for you personally or that you would recommend for people who are kind of, let's just say they're in a whirlwind right now. They're in the tornado and they're trying to figure out, okay, who's the right coach for me? What's the first step that I should do?
What came to mind when you said that is trust. I mean, you got to trust them, right? You got to trust them. If you don't trust the person, if they don't have a proven track record of results, if they're not, if they haven't done this with other people, and like you haven't seen like good results from them, or if you get on a call with them, like you can always ask somebody for like other testimonials and stuff from people that are like you, right? Like, and I don't think enough people do that. Have you ever had anybody do that?
My clients.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, they do for sure. I mean,
I've
it's open
never
in the
had
group
anybody do
too.
that.
Oh, really? Yeah,
Yeah.
it's open to my group too. Like I'll see it in the comments, like who
Yeah.
here's gotten results, and then like my clients jump in there. So it's kind of
Yeah.
cool. It's awesome.
No,
Um,
that's huge. But I'm saying like on a call, like I've never had anybody ask me to send them over testimonials. But I think that's a
oh no, no,
huge
no.
thing.
I
But
think I've
like,
had one person.
yeah.
I've had one,
But that's
and they
something.
didn't become a client anyways.
Yeah, and that's something that people shouldn't be afraid to do because I don't if you don't know like that's going to be a huge thing if they've done it with a bunch of other people like they've gotten the results people like you that's a good thing. So I think like trusting that they've done it before, having a good vibe, right? If you don't
Yeah.
feel like you can have a good conversation with this person, and keep in mind like there's some people like maybe the person you're talking to on the phone isn't going to be the coach you actually end up getting because they have a
Hmm.
bigger company like they've trained their coaches in to do the same thing that they do. Maybe they've removed themselves from the coaching side of it and they're just focusing on they're like the CEO, they're doing all that side of things. That's the nature of business and that's the nature of growing as a company, right? That's going to happen. But like having a good vibe with them, having trust, like you have to trust them. You have to trust that they have what you need, right? And also you got to know that like a huge piece of this is accountability is what I've always seen. Like coaching, the most beneficial thing of coaching really like is having the accountability, knowing somebody you can reach out to, knowing somebody's there to help you, knowing that there's like it's not just you, right? Because I think a lot of times what people really struggle with is that like they know what to do, right? Like a lot of people know what to do or they have an idea of like, oh, I probably should eat this way, right? Like nobody's like, oh, like I probably should eat a lot of pizza and burgers and like all this garbage, and that's gonna get me to where I want to be. Like that's not generally like the mindset that people have. Like people know I probably should eat some fruits and veggies and quality meats and fish and stuff like that's generally if you want to get healthier people know like that's what you do to get healthier. Oh, I probably should drink some more water, I probably should walk, I probably should get some workouts in. Like everybody kind of knows that when it comes to like fat loss and health. Like most people have a good understanding of that. It's just a matter of why are you not doing that? Like why are
Mm.
you not able to execute that? And a lot of times it comes down to the accountability. Like when you're left to your own devices and then it's just you and you're looking yourself in the mirror and you're making the decision to should I go to the gym or should I not? It's a lot easier to talk yourself out of it. When you have a coach that's checking in with you and you know he or she is like, hey, like, you know, what happened? Why didn't you get your workout in? Or you know that you're going to go to that call and you got to talk about all the food you've been eating this week and you got to talk about like why you didn't like get your workouts in this week and like you make these excuses. It's a little bit it's so much easier to execute, you know, when you have that extra external person that you need to I don't want to say report to because it should just be like a good relationship, but like in a sense, right? You have this person that you're kind of bringing this to. You're logging your stuff. You're logging your food. You're oh, did you do your habits for the day that you're supposed to be doing? Like all these different things. But that's kind of the first thing that comes to mind is trust. But then you know, like a relationship too. Like it's like anything, right? I think of it like a like therapy too is the same exact way. Like it's like dating, like it's all this stuff. Like there's got to be a good vibe and like you got to feel comfortable with this person because you're going to spend a lot of time with them. Like
Hmm.
potentially you're going to have a lot of time with them, but also if you don't feel comfortable and you don't trust them, it's never going to work, right? It's always gonna fail. But what is your opinion on that?
Yeah, you hit it on the head with the trust thing. I think you have to know, like, and trust. And us as coaches, we're always trying to build that too, right? Like, I'm like, how can I get more people to trust in me? Well, any video I make, anything that I put out there, any information or value that I provide, I need to be 100% true, authentically myself. And if I do that, I know at the end of the day, even if people don't resonate with me, that's even better. If somebody doesn't like me or somebody doesn't feel my vibe or they don't trust me, great, because that relationship's not going to work anyways. But I'm speaking to the people who actually do resonate with me. And when I do that, and I know when you do that as a coach, and we jump on like this pod and we're talking from the gut, from the heart, and we're sharing our opinions and what we absolutely truly believe, not trying to like market to somebody and sugarcoat shit and make it sound a certain way. Because here's the fact: when you're out there and you're in this whirlwind as a consumer and you're looking for a coach or a program or something to invest in, you have to have the ability to filter through the BS. So like to Alex's point, does this coach have a proven track record? First and foremost, do I trust them? Do I like them? Okay, great. Do they actually get results? Can they get results? Can they get the result that I specifically am looking for? I'm a huge fan of like looking through the testimonials, like look through the people that coach has helped, and do those people, can you see yourself in their shoes? Like, are they like you, right? Do they have similarities as you? And doing those things. And because here's the thing, once you gather all that information, because you can have information overload with this too. What I'm a huge fan of is like, do a free option of whatever that coach has too. If they have it, chances are almost every coach is going to have some sort of free option, or just get into their ecosystem, meaning like if they probably have some sort of group or community that you can be a part of, just so you can kind of soak it up and be a fly on the wall. With that being said, once you get past that stage and you're like, yes, this is it, this is awesome, I'll say that there's never going to be a perfect time for you to jump the gun and like get started. So you have to get started uncomfortably, financially, all that stuff. It's going to feel like I'm still like, there's maybe like a couple percent where I'm not quite sure. Like, it's okay to not feel 100%. You're going to have that uneasiness. That's actually part of growth and progression, is feeling that uncomfortableness to be able to take that next step forward. So it should feel, should scare you a little bit. You should feel nervous a little bit. And if you get those feelings and you experience them, I actually think that's a good thing. That's how you know you're on the right page, because you're like, oh, I know this person. I believe in this coach. Maybe the last percentage or a little bit of doubt is actually inside. It's like in yourself. You're like, I'm not sure if I can do it, which then comes down to what Alex was talking about, is the accountability. You don't have to do this yourself, right? Like, you actually physically have to do the work. Like, we can't eat the food for you and do the workouts for you. We can lay out the best plan possible, but at the end of the day, you have to do the work. But when you have somebody holding you accountable to the work that you know, like, and trust, that can get you to the result that you want, there's nothing to lose. And a lot of us too have guarantees in our programs too, where we know that our shit works really, really well. So this is like, for anybody looking for anything too, is like, if they're guaranteeing X result, and you put in the work and you can show physically that you have done the work, there should be no reason that you don't get that result. So that's where I think some hesitation comes up with some people. It's not so much in like the program and the coach per se, but maybe like you actually having the ability and trust in yourself that you can get there, which, to our point, what Alex said, is the accountability. That's where a coach is going to come in and hold you accountable, bring some guardrails around you and say, hey, this is the plan. This is what we need to execute on. I know you may not believe in yourself right here, but here's people just like you who have been through this and have been successful. And here's how you can too. We're going to take it one step at a time. And that's a totally different approach than you trying to go buy a program that you don't have access to somebody to help coach you through that and say that to you. You just have to like keep your fingers crossed and hopefully I believe in myself. And like, that's a very like, that's going to be a lot more cost effective, sure, on your pockets. But if you're somebody who needs that extra accountability, chances are you're going to pay for it, but it's going to be worth it. And Alex, your coach and mine, Nick Ross, he always says, if you buy cheap, you buy twice, guaranteed, right? Like, that's something that he always says, like, buy cheap, expect to buy twice. So, and it's so true, right? So if you have to really be, and again, it's not buying something. I want you to reframe your mindset around that too. When I go to invest in something, I'm like, is this going to yield me an outcome? What's the ROI on it? We all think about that. We should. And what's my return going to be from this? And I think if you approach it with that open mindset of like, okay, this work does come down to me. I have to physically do the work, but do I trust this person? Do I trust this program that they're going to help guide me in the right direction in that process? And if you're going to feel that in your gut, if you genuinely feel it, especially if the person is active on social media where you feel like you can know, like, and trust them and kind of absorb their content for a while, I think that helps a lot too. But that would be my first recommendation, is like, do you feel like you know this person, even though you may physically have never met them? Do you like them? Do you trust them? Do you think they can get you to your result and help guide you? Those are all like really good gut intuition feelings. Or is this somebody owning a huge, massive program, I'm never going to have access to them. I don't know who my coach is going to be. There's a lot of questions up in the air too. Chances are when things are that big, the price tag is very low, but the touch points are very low as well. So you have to kind of decide what you want, where you're at in your journey.
Yeah. And some things also to think about is like a good coach is first off, it's going to be custom, right? Like it's good. Like their program is not going to just be this cookie cutter. Everybody gets the same workout program. Everybody gets the same macros. And that's what you see with a lot of these fucking piece of shit programs out there that we both hate. Like it's just, it's a detriment to people, right? Everybody's eating 1,200 calories. Everybody's doing the same workouts. Everybody's like putting up a butt plug. I don't fucking know. Like that's stupid.
One size fits all.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's just it's literally like it's frustrating, but like that's something like make sure that it's customized. Like it should be a custom nutrition plan for you based on your body, based on your goals, based on your lifestyle, based on your past, all of that stuff. It should be a custom training program if that's a part of it. Like it should be customized to you, like not just everybody gets the same shit, right? That should not be the same case. And then other things that come to mind, like you should be able to have access to your coach, right? And you have to understand what level you need. Like, do you need weekly? Do you need biweekly? Do you need monthly? Like, what do you personally need access-wise to execute? Understand yourself, right? Like try to understand yourself and like err on the side of more is what I would say. Like, if you don't know, err on the side of like more access, like higher level of access, because the more accountability, the better. The more that you have to be able to reach out to your coach, the better. All that stuff, like those are some other key points that I think like people need to understand, and also understand like if you have certain like specific struggles, there's probably somebody out there who deals with that. I know like we know coaches who specialize in sleep. We know coaches who specialize in women's hormones. We know like there's people out there who specialize in every single thing. Certain people like are 20s to 30s males who are 20 pounds overweight. Like people have a very specific niche that they are in. And if you can look out there and also like if somebody's out there, I want people to know, like comment or reach out to Matter ourselves. Like if we're not the right person for you, if either one of us is not the right coach for you, we know a ton of fucking coaches and we can put you in touch with somebody who's going to be a good fit. Cause we have a good like rate. Like, so like, yeah, if you're like, oh, like these, like maybe this isn't a good fit, or, oh, hey, this is my struggle. Like, we'll be honest with you guys and let you know if one of us is a good fit for you, or if maybe like our friends, or like we have a community of people that we can reach out to and get like referrals from. Like there's a lot of options out there, but don't go at this blind. Don't feel like you're alone in this. Like, and like, don't feel like you have to jump into it. Like if you're not ready, but also know that a lot of people take way too long to jump into it, right? They try it themselves way too long. I know like I've worked with plenty of people that have been doing this for 10 years, right? It's like the 10 years, 20 years, whatever it is, before they actually get coaching. Or they've had bad experiences, right? Because that's out there too. There's a lot of really bad coaches because you don't have to get certified to be a coach. Like I could just wake up one day after being in construction for 20 years and decide that I'm going to be a fucking coach. Like that, I could, like, and there's people out there that are doing that. Like I've talked to them. Like it's just like people that they have no, like they lost some weight and now they're like, I'm a coach now. Right. Which is like, I don't think is like a great idea. Like that's just my opinion. Like I think that there's something to that, right? Like it's awesome that you want to give back, but you should, generally speaking, the coach should have some sort of education, certifications, something that they've done. Like, cause I know for me, like I helped myself a lot. And then like, and I got myself into a pretty decent place. And then I went and got certifications and like, I was like, wow, I knew nothing. Right. I absolutely knew nothing. Mm-hmm. And like, now I have a grasp on the science. I have a grasp on really how to like set up macros based on somebody's goals, their weight, their past experiences, the lifestyle that they have, all of these different things. Like you kind of go through these certifications that are based in different, like there's nutrition certifications, there's mindset certifications, there's gut health certifications. There's tons of them out there. And there's also, like I said, there's people out there that specialize in the problem that you probably have. And so don't just pick some random person. Like make sure that you do your research on it and make sure that you know that this person can help you with your struggles. Because like I said, I know there's a lot of people out there who have a specific thing, or maybe you have diabetes, right? And like if you go have diabetes, go to somebody who specializes in working with people with diabetes, right? Or if you have some sort of autoimmune disorder, like go to somebody who specializes in helping people with that autoimmune disorder, or like autoimmune disorders, like in general. Like there's people, I know people out there who specialize in these different things. And so that's another thing I wanted to bring up, because I think it's important for people to understand like what a good coach has in their program. And also the fact that there are coaches that specialize in certain areas.
Yeah, and our network's really big. So I love that you put that out there for people. Like if you're on the fence, you're not sure, and you're listening to this and you just want to shoot Alex and I a message and we can kind of hear exactly where you want to go, what your goals and desires are. And then if so-and-so or X coach fits you and we think that they'd be a good fit, like we'll give you our honest opinion for sure. We're not going to hold back, and we have nothing to lose. We just seen a lot of it and we know what's bullshit out there and we know it's not. And we can filter through it just because we live it. We're in it. And, oftentimes, a lot of times we just feel bad for people who are swimming in the sea of just nonsense. So yeah, if you are struggling, please don't hesitate to send us out a message. Tell us what it is, what your goals are and what you're trying to achieve. And then if you have potential coaches that you're looking into or programs that you're looking into, we can give our 2 cents on it, or opinions and recommendations for sure. Absolutely. And if we don't feel like that's a fit for you, the one that you're particularly looking at, we can give you some additional recommendations too of either our colleagues or people that are in our network. Because again, we have a vast network of coaches, all different walks of life. I do it all the time. So if I have phone calls with potential leads or potential clients, and I don't see them fit my program and my program doesn't fit them, or vice versa, I'll absolutely recommend them to somebody who on top of mind, I feel fits them better, even though it doesn't fit my program. And that's something what Alex and I will always do, because at the end of the day, we're just trying to help. We need to help you. And if you're not fit for our program, it doesn't make sense for us to try to sell you to come in when it's not going to be a good experience, knowing that we don't deliver the results specifically that you're looking for. So we wouldn't want to waste our time. We wouldn't want you to waste your time. And so that's kind of how we operate, man. One thing I want to talk about too is that another thing that you're probably looking at out there as you're searching for a coach or for a program, I know this one comes up a lot, is physical appearance, right? Like how does the person look? How does the coach look? Do they walk the walk? Do they talk the talk? This is a big one, right? And we can go down a bunch of different avenues here, but I think it's very challenging. This is like an unwritten rule, or this is a kind of flies under the radar. Like if your goal and your desire is to have a 6-pack and be jacked and look amazing with your shirt off at the beach, and your coach doesn't have that, it's not to say that they're not a phenomenal coach, right? And this is very challenging. I'd love to know your perspective on this too. And this is very challenging is in terms of, you trying to vet out the right coach for you. I will say it's not a requirement for the coach to look that part. If it doesn't mean that they have to be able to physically look that way to deliver and drive that result, right? They can absolutely get you to that result. So that makes it challenging from a consumer's perspective too, because the coaches who actually look the part, who may not necessarily be the best coach, could take you on as a client, right? And so you could sign up for the program that, man, the coach looks super jacked, but they're actually an asshole. They're not trustworthy. They're just trying to take your money. And so that comes down to like the trust thing that we talked about too. So it's like being able to filter and navigate. I know it's really, really challenging for people out there, but just know like it is icing on the cake for a coach to look the way and look the part. I think so. Absolutely. Alex, I know you and I both pride ourselves in that, but I'm going to say that it's not essential, because you and I both know phenomenal coaches that don't necessarily look the part, but they know their shit, man. They can absolutely drive and deliver results. And so that's always a tough, you know what I mean? I'd like to know your perspective on that too. That's just my thoughts, but
I love that you
what do
brought
you
that
think,
up.
man?
I love that you brought that up because that's a tough thing. It is really a tough thing.
It's tough.
I personally like to err on the side of being like, if I'm looking for a health coach, like, or if I'm looking for I'm looking for somebody who's in shape. Like that's me.
Yeah.
Right? I'm going to say my
Yeah, me
opinion
too.
is that I'm a guy who likes to have his coach. Like I've had multiple different coaches over the years. Like I need help with this shit too, guys. But like I have had multiple coaches. I always look for somebody who fits the part, right? Like who fits, who really knows their shit. And also that's why you need to look at the results too. Because that's where the results will come into play. Like if they
100%.
have a ton of proven results, then like the appearance, it could be for many different reasons too. Like I like to think of like there could be some unfortunate things that happened for this person, right?
Totally.
They're out of shape because they broke their femur and they in a car accident and like they haven't been able to move for a while. Like that, like that could be the case. Like so I would hate to completely just toss somebody to the curb or give the wrong advice because I know there's a lot of like caveats to this whole thing. I personally love to look. I really like to look for that person who is like a combination of looks the part and also has the results. Because like
totally,
that's the key, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But like I remember I went to Lifetime Fitness a while back. This was like my first gym that I went to in high school, and like there was a trainer there, a personal trainer there that was like very overweight, and I always was like question. I was like, it's not a great selling point, right? And so like I definitely that's one thing is like it is looking the part is an aspect to it, but again, I would hate to give this wrong advice because there's plenty of great coaches out there that are not in the kind of shape that you would assume like a coach would maybe be in, but life, like there's so many different aspects of life. So like I think that's where it really comes back to the whole results side of things. Like if they have tons of proven results, then you can get away with that. If they don't, then I would, and you're going to go with them, like I would make sure that they are like they're walking the walk there too. Because that is something you do see a lot of, and something that frustrates me is coaches that like preach this whole thing that they're not even willing to do. Right? Like they preach this whole program and shit that they don't even do. They don't follow it. They're not even prioritizing their sleep, even though they talk about sleep all the time. They're not even prioritizing their nutrition. Like their workouts suck, like all this stuff, and they're not even doing it. And that is not the kind of person that you want to get involved with. Like you want to make sure that at a bare minimum, the person's actually doing the stuff that they talk about. And hopefully you can see that maybe through their content. Sometimes that's hard to know because the look won't necessarily tell you. Maybe they are doing all the stuff that they say. They just don't necessarily look the part. Again, I will come back to the results. Look at their results. Look at their testimonials. Like talk to people in their Facebook group if they have a Facebook group or community out there on some platform. Talk to those people. Ask like who has gotten good results here. Pick their brain. Like a lot of people are more than willing to talk to you about that. Like if they got good results, they're probably like shouting it from the rooftops. They're loving it. And so like that's a good thing that I would say.
Yeah, I think that's great. And then also, we didn't talk about it too much, but doing your best to work within your budget. Like you got to decide what your budget is to invest in your health and fitness and at your current state. And a lot of coaches or programs will also have financing options for you as well. But you just have to budget out what's going to work for you, be realistic, and then that way you don't get sticker shock when you see a program that you absolutely love and then the price is the only thing holding you back. Chances are you can ask the coach or see if they have some sort of financing option. Like they may not advertise that, right? Because a lot of coaches are going to want the cash up front. But if that's the deciding factor for you and you line up very true to what that coach offers or that program offers, but really it's literally the financials that are holding you back, ask if they'd be willing to work with you financially, right? Like that's another thing too, is like if that's the only thing that's holding you back is the numbers, but you have extreme conviction in terms of like, this is the thing that's going to help you get to that next level and yield the results that you desire. And this is the coach and the program that's going to help you do that. And you have absolute belief in that, but you just have that price ticket holding you back. And you're not saying that it's not worth it. You're just saying, I physically can't afford it yet. Discuss financing with them. It is awkward. And trust me, the coach and the programs, they probably have an option because it's not their first time talking about it either, especially if they're experienced. Like, I guarantee you, if they don't advertise it, they can probably do something to help work with you. So that would be my thing to encourage people to do, is dive deeper in that. Don't let the financials be the thing holding you back from something so important to yielding a better you, a stronger version, a more healthier version. But you're like, oh, I can't afford it right now. It's just bullshit, right? Like, you got to like get that part out of the way and stay focused on the, do I want to improve the longevity of my life here? Or am I just going to use price as a constant excuse or a constant crutch that I don't get started? So the biggest thing, and if the coach actually gives a shit, like they'll want to be able to work with you and be like, yeah, if that's truly the only thing that's holding you back, like, let's see what we can do here. You never know, is what I'm saying. Like, I've helped some people out in some really, really tough situations, and I knew that was financially the only thing that was holding them back. But I knew them not jumping in my program was even a bigger problem, because they were going to keep spinning their circles and doing the same shit that they've been doing and being stuck for 10, 15, 20 plus years. So for me, if I have the ability to end that cycle for somebody, and that's literally the last thing that we're talking about, then and that's just me. And I'm sure Alex does that too as well. But there's programs out there that you never know, is what I'm saying. You should at least just bring it up and entertain it for a little bit. But
yeah. No, I think that's a great point. I'm glad you brought that up as well. And I would also challenge people out there to understand that, like, if you do find the right coach and you do find the right program, that it's going to save you a lot of money in the long run too. Because a lot of people end up with diabetes or other disease. Like, if you keep going down the path that you're going, like medications and the hospital visits or the doctor's visits or all these different things are a hell of a lot more expensive than probably that price of that program. And so, like, if you're starting to see yourself go on that downward spiral and get closer and closer to like a really unhealthy situation, or you're already there, like, it's only a matter of time where you compound that stress and you compound that unhealthiness and these bad lifestyle choices and these bad food choices, or I don't even want to say bad, but just like these maybe like not as good choices,
just poor,
poor choices, that it ends up leading to that way. And then you get into a place where you're trying to get in a coach while you're on medication or while you're going through like a certain thing that's just not ideal. So I would say, the earlier you can catch it, the better. And, understanding, like, find, a budget you can fit, but be realistic in the sense of understanding that if this is the right program for you and you've done your research and you feel like you trust this person and they have a lot of proven results, all the stuff we talked about on this podcast, that you getting into it and putting in that work and executing and doing the things that they tell you. Now, hopefully they are doing it in a sustainable way. Some people will just throw the kitchen sink at you and good luck, or just throw you into the middle of the ocean and try to tell you to swim. Hopefully at this point, people have done it. You've talked to some people maybe in their community. You've seen their testimonials, all this stuff. Like, if you have to spend a little bit more money, that could end up saving you a ton of money in the future.
Yeah, that's a great point. Is like, again, the whole financial thing, I see a roadblock in a lot of people, because I've been in your shoes, not from looking for like a health and fitness coach, but a business coach, right? Same thing. I've been in those shoes where, like, man, this crosses all the T's, dots all the I's. I really trust this. This is genuine. I've seen all the testimonials. I know it's proven. I know it's worked. And then you see the price ticket and you're like, oh shit, I don't know if I can do that. Like, I don't know how I'm going to do that. And so now, if that's the only thing and limiting factor in holding you up, and to Alex's point, it's like, this is the easy question to ask yourself, is what's the cost of inaction? What if I choose not to get resourceful here and make this happen for myself? Where am I going to be at in the next 5 years, in the next 10 years? Like, what does that look like if I simply use that as a crutch? Meaning, like, I need more resources and I don't have the willingness to get resourceful. And so if you find yourself putting yourself in a position to be like, okay, I can do this. I'm not quite sure how I'm going to make it happen, but I know it's important to me. And whether I need to do credit cards or whether I need to break it into payments or like whatever you need to do and figure it out. Maybe I need to cut down on spending on some of these other subscriptions that I never use, that I haven't used in a year. Like you'd be surprised at where you can pinch some pennies and you can add up, just in a simple, easy, tangible monthly budget. You might surprise yourself, right? Like filter through all the shit that doesn't serve you, see what you're willing to sacrifice here. And I've worked with people that's exactly what we did. We just literally went through their statements on a monthly basis. And I had one client that before he became a client, he was dating and was spending over $4,000 a month on dating, drinks, dinner, going out, just bullshit, right? Like stuff that didn't serve him at that point in time. And, $4,000 a month. Like, dude, you can invest in my program. You're spending $4,000 a month on dates. I can see how you cannot when you do that. But man, if we just cut that out, just cut that in half, right? And you'll be good, dude. Like, so it's like taking a look at your financials and making sure that, and of course, this is all assuming that everything that we talked up until this point, you feel like you know the person, you've built trust with them, you're absorbing their content, you feel like they are the thing and the program is the thing that can help you get to where you want to go. You've maybe even, like Alex said, reached out to some of the testimonials or the clients that actually have been through the program, see what their feedback is. Like, I always encourage everybody to do that, especially if they're thinking about coming on with myself or if you're going on with Alex. Like, reach out to my current clients, the ones that I'm posting on social media, the ones that are rocking it, the ones that I love to highlight. Like, talk to them, message them, shoot them a message. I know all of them would be more than happy to give you their honest opinion. And so you can really figure out if it is something for you or not. But even just in general, I encourage you, like, even if it's not a health and fitness program with Alex or myself, but you're just out there searching the market, like, message people that have done it, like talk to people who have done it. What were the pros? What were the cons? And see if it aligns with who you truly are, what your vision is. If it, aligns accordingly and everything kind of lands in the right spot. Now that's all that's left is for you to take action. You're in a really good position, and it will feel uncomfortable. It will feel like, I kind of need that last little nudge, but that's a good position to be in. I'll tell you that.
I love it, dude. Honestly, I have nothing more to add other than if you are looking for a coach, my boy Matt here is a fucking rock star, and you should go DM him, and he will absolutely help you kill it and get to your goals.
Yeah.
But like we also said, like if he's not the
maybe
guy,
not
the guy, then we'll definitely help you find the right person.
That's cool too.
Yeah. Why don't you got anything else to add on this?
No, that's it, brother. I mean, if you guys are out there struggling, or you know somebody who's looking to get into health and fitness, they're kind of navigating the ocean out there and they're trying to find a coach for them that fits them, use the tactics that we talked about in here, share this podcast with them, especially if you feel like it would be valuable for them. Spotify, iTunes, YouTube, we're on all the platforms. And if you guys enjoyed this content and you're looking for more, just make sure you subscribe. We're releasing these every week, and so you guys can stay tapped in and up to date with us. Alex, you got anything else?
I got nothing else. I appreciate you all out there, and hope you have a good rest of the day, good rest of the week, and we'll be talking to you soon.